We're finally at keyword searching. I have a question to ask you. At what point in the research process is it appropriate to conduct a full text keyword search? Here's your hint. The answer is at the end of the process. Do not start your research with a keyword search in a case law or a statute database. When should you conduct your keyword full text search? Only after you've utilized secondary sources. That's that early step in the research plan process, because those secondary sources will help you gain background, context, understanding. They'll help you locate those initial citations to primary law. After you've already used those initial citations to expand your research by using the notes to decisions in statutes, headnotes, citing references and citators for cases. Only after all that, then you can run a keyword search to look for fact-specific cases and to double check yourself. Did you miss anything? Remember that research is an iterative process, so the same cases should be showing up over and over again, and that'll help you know when you're done. So we're ready to do this. Last step. Let's get into it. There are two main ways to enter keywords. You can use the natural language method, or you can use the terms and connectors method, also known as Boolean. In the natural language method, you use no connectors. You just put your words in like Google, and then it incorporates AI, not generative AI, but old-fashioned AI, where the database is using its algorithm to guess what results that you want, and it's putting those results up top. But in a terms and connectors or Boolean search, you control exactly what the computer is going to give back to you, and you have got to get it right. If you don't get the connectors in your terms exactly right, the computer is not going to give you back anything useful. So you get precise results, which rely on less post-search filtering, but there can be a cost if you don't get it right. So no matter which road you choose, natural language or Boolean, you have to use relevant keywords, not just junk keywords, and you have to put them in a relevant database, not just the main search bar. Anyone off the street can put junk keywords into the main search bar, but don't do that. First, you'll lose legal research points. If I'm grading and I see your research trail and you just threw lazy keywords into the main search bar, you're going to lose points. And if I see that you're not thinking about a relevant database and you're just using the main search bar when you search for cases, you're going to lose points. And second, beyond my little research class, being a lazy researcher is not going to earn you imaginary points with your employer. Doing inefficient research is not going to get you ahead in your career. So let's start with the relevant keywords piece. First, you are going to select your starting keywords, not your final ones yet, but your first draft. You'll pull factual terms from the fact pattern, legal issues from the fact pattern, or from wherever you're getting your assignment, the hypo here in class, or the complaint, or the client intake interview. But pull those starting terms out and really look at them. How can you make them better as keywords? You're going to craft them into better keywords. You're going to think about how likely those terms would be to appear in a case. And if it's not likely those exact terms are going to appear, then you're going to want to craft them into terms that will appear. You'll want to identify the legal concepts, perhaps the terms of art that are used to describe exactly what you're looking for. You'll want to consider synonyms for your factual terms and maybe expand them beyond the narrow factual term that you have down as your starting point. You don't want to be too broad, but you also don't want to be too specific. So if you're dealing with a case where a car was stolen, you might go too broad if you say transportation theft as your keyword. Someone might have stolen a bus or a plane or a boat or anything like that, right? So if it's too specific, you would be searching for cases involving a 2001 Ford Ranger theft. That's not going to get you a lot of good results either, but just about right would be auto theft, automobile theft, car theft, right? That's in the middle, that sweet Goldilocks spot. So once you've got good, not lazy, not junk keywords, but good ones, then you're going to select your relevant database. And so you're not just going to put your keywords into the main search bar at the top of Lexis or Westlaw, but you're going to select a relevant database. It's going to make your search more efficient. So take a look at your jurisdiction. Use the smallest relevant database possible, and then search in that database directly. Here's an example. If I go to Ninth Circuit cases, because those are the ones that I determine are going to be binding on me, then those are the ones I want to search. So here in Lexis, you'd go to federal Ninth Circuit cases, and then you'd click all Ninth Circuit cases first. And then you would select the sources to search, and you would check both the U.S. Supreme Court cases and the Ninth Circuit. And then you can pop your good keywords into that search bar, and you're only searching these two relevant databases, so you won't lose points figuratively or literally. Or better yet, select your sources to search, and then you can use this advanced search button. So once you click the advanced search button, you can pop your keywords into a field or a segment, and you can really impress me or impress your boss with your efficient case finding skills. So let's talk about the fields and segments and that advanced search button. Clicking that advanced search button opens the door to fields and segments. And why would you want to open that door? You're happy using natural language like in Google. Why make things more complicated? Well, because this extra step is going to take you leaps and bounds ahead of any peers that you're working with who don't use it. If you are wanting to stand out as someone who can conduct reliable research, giving the best, most relevant cases to the assigning attorney who gave you that research task in a timely manner, you're going to accomplish that successfully and with more efficiency using advanced search with field searching, more than you are by flinging random keywords into the main search bar. All that to say, don't be a lazy keyword flinger. They're a dime a dozen. Instead, you want to stand out from the crowd, walk with me through the advanced search door, and that's the end of my pep talk. So let's talk about what I mean by fields and segments. So field and segment searching is going to help you be more effective, more efficient. It's going to provide you with a template, so you don't have to figure out what the fields are yourself, but you're going to be able to use them. It'll enable you to search the specific parts of a document where your terms are most likely to appear and return you the most relevant results. So here's what it looks like. In the advanced search for Lexis, you're going to look for the headnotes field. You're going to have to scroll down a bit till you find it. But once you get to the headnotes field, that's where you're going to put your keywords. All of this content's on Brightspace, so make sure you do review that Brightspace content. But you're going to pop your keywords into the headnotes field, and that is to ensure that your cases that you're receiving as your search results are about those keywords. There's a point of law about your keywords, as opposed to those keywords just appearing anywhere in a case that's not really relevant to what you're looking for. Now, just because you've got the fields laid out for you in the advanced template, you still need the good keywords to pop in, and you need to know what to do with them. So here are some advanced keyword techniques on Boolean searching. First, you're going to start with your good keywords. You're going to refer to that research plan that you've been building all along, and you're going to figure out what you're looking for precisely and specifically. How might a court articulate those terms? And then add the synonyms. Secondly, you're going to put quotes around legal phrases. Now, don't put quotes around everything. Only use quotes when you're sure that the legal phrase will always appear as that phrase. And an example is disparate treatment. You're rarely going to see this phrase broken apart and phrased differently. But for instance, you're not going to want to put quotes around members of a protected class. And that's because that phrase can be taken apart and reworded in a number of different ways, and you'd still get the right concept, but not if you put it in quotation marks. You're limiting yourself. You're restricting yourself from seeing the cases that you want to see. And finally, you're going to put connectors between every word or phrase. You're not going to put words together that don't have a connector. All right. The basic terms and connectors include and. That's going to narrow your search. It means all of the words connected with and have to appear. Or it's going to do the reverse. It's going to broaden your search. It means that any of the terms in your string were going to appear before that result comes up. And /s means same sentence. It's what you do to tighten your connectors. It makes sure that the connected words between the /s are going to appear in the same sentence of your document. And finally, /p means same paragraph in the same idea that you'd be using same sentence. A little bit more about phrase searching because it's worth spending a moment on. There's a tendency to want to put quotation marks around everything, and I just want to caution you against that. So, for example, the right to bear arms as a phrase with quotation marks around it, that would get you a result that says, the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. And that would be great. But it would miss the result that says, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And you would want that result to appear, and you would be limiting yourself to it not appearing if you put this phrase in quotation marks. So instead of putting it in quotation marks, if you really want these words to appear close to each other, you can put them in the same sentence. So right is in the same sentence as bear, and then you want them both to be in the same document as the word arms. If you just string them all together, right to bear arms without any connectors, the algorithm is going to interpret that as a natural language search. And because those algorithms are pretty good, you'd probably get some good results with this as well. I would just caution against using it with quotation marks. Additional pro tips. Commas are not a thing. Do not use commas in Westlaw or Alexa's keyword searching. So you're not going to put right, comma, bear, comma, arms. I see students try that and it's not a thing. Don't use commas. Again, I said this before, but connectors connect terms. So they go between every term, unless you're phrase searching, in which case there's not a connector, but you've got those quotation marks. So you would put right with a connector, bear with a connector, and arms. This one, you'll notice there's a connector missing between bear and arms. And so the algorithm's going to sort of make a mess of this. If you want to avoid that, make sure you've got connectors between each word. All right. You are ready to finish up the learning exercise with the keywords section. So give it a try. And after you finish it, join me for one last lecture video to finish out the module. I'll see you in that video.